Hello, this is part 2 on the subject of chronic hyperventilation syndrome. We'll call it CHS, it's easier. Hopefully you've seen part 1. You should watch that because I had to solve a lot of little things that I talk about in that. This one is just about a technique of breathing that manages my CHS easily. You know how most websites about CHS give definitions, they talk about medicine, they give you a breathing pattern to follow, like in 4, hold 2, out 7, and tell you how to retrain your breathing and to practice. Oddly, some of the breathing patterns vary from website to website. Which one do you choose? We don't even know. Um, uh, of course, just a second, I've lost my place. That's really strange. Okay, it's not strange to lose my place, I will again. All I can say is I felt awful sometimes doing the breathe out 7 part, like I was running out of air. Then, of course, you breathe in hard in reaction, which keeps the cycle going. I felt like an old hand accordion, like you know, I'm sure you can relate, though that didn't sound much like an accordion, but that's okay. That's about what I felt like, and that's what your diaphragm is doing. When I first got CHS and was battling my breath in and out, I would incorrectly exhale all my breath out so that I could start fresh. But, you know, that would just get that breathing coming in too hard the very next breath, and I never could get out of that cycle at all. So I finally just started by breathing in first. I just decided one day to try breathing in first, and it made it a lot easier. And you'll understand that in a bit, because we're going to really go through it. I've loosely developed a technique to this method because I just recently developed the whole thing, and I'm really not absolutely positive how much to breathe in myself, but you know, and I don't have it right down to a science, but I wanted to get it out here because it's helped me already. Now, when a person is over breathing, too much carbon dioxide, CO2, is flushed out of the system. I take that to mean too much CO2 is being breathed out, and it's the biggest problem in hyperventilation that I read. That's the biggest problem. So I just don't allow myself to breathe out much or fully when I know I have been fully, like I have been over breathing. So let me demonstrate. I will breathe in gently, not through the diaphragm though. And let me show you diaphragmatic breathing. Let's see. I can't see it because of here. Let me turn this. Let me go here. Okay, right here. That's my genes there. But this is diaphragmatic breathing. It's down here, and I find that extremely uncomfortable when I have CHS. I don't like breathing that way. It's like, ooh, I can't stand it. So let me see where I'm again. Oh, way down here. Okay, so and you don't want to be a kid and look like a kid and do just your upper lungs, like, you know, when they take a breath and start singing. What I do is I breathe in and I expand the lower rib cage. It's just above the stomach. And the diaphragm, that's where the diaphragm is. Actually, it's a big band that extends along right underneath your rib cage. And I will expand about here. I just kind of take a breath in, and it doesn't have to be too big, but I just take a breath in, and I hold it for a while. I don't hold it hard. I don't like hold my breath, but I just kind of let it flow. And I might slowly let a little out. Slowly let a little out. But not take too much out because I don't want that hard return. You know, if you're in CHS, you would just do that. So then I might take another little breath. And I try to keep this expanded just because I like it for some reason. I can feel my rib cage, you know, bigger. And I just slowly take a little out. And breathe out a little teeny bit. And I'll do that a little bit. And then at some point, I might do that like three times. Whatever, you know, I can do it up to 6 times. I don't like to do anything too much just because I don't know. But I would try to get involved then in something else so you can get my mind, I'll get my mind off of it, because it's just like any of those breathing patterns. It doesn't instantly get you out of hyperventilation, but the goal is like in about 2 minutes your brain should reset. That's what everybody hopes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't with a lot of those breathing number things, in 4, hold 2, out 7 things. But this seems to just kind of do the trick for me. And you can do it anywhere. You can walk along and just let it out a little bit. You let it linger for a little while. You know, it just floats there. Hippie Barb says it floats there. Guru Barb, Yoga Barb. And then it slowly goes out. Now, of course, it goes out because I'm talking too, you know. But that is just basically the technique. And you just do that a few times. And you're not breathing out that deep, deep breath. And what is really interesting about that, I've been just talking. I'm not even following my sheets. You know, who knows where I am on these. Let me just see. Let me see. I'll find out that later like left out a real important part or something. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. What we want is for the normal breathing system to eventually take over. You know, that's why I try to get my brain involved in something else. And now because I don't take too big a breath, and I just keep putting in a little bit at a time, I don't really worry about getting lightheaded or something. You know, I just wouldn't do it too much. But let's see what we're doing this way. We are breathing a little slower, though I can't see I breathe in super slow there. But maybe a little slower, but it's shallower, and it is much slower out. And what you read on a lot of websites is to breathe slower and shallower. So that really seems to work. It's kind of like I'm doing the right thing that way, but I'm not having to do that possibility of breathing too much out and having my diaphragm take over and make me breathe again quickly and too much. You know, you just break that fast thing altogether, that speedy stuff. So I guess you get the idea. You know, I could go over it a few more times, but I guess you could just rewind. So anyway, think about it. Websites always tell you not to mouth breathe. I see people doing that all the time. That, you know, it's unattractive. A sigh or a yawn, and all of these are hard breaths out. So now when I sigh, instead of, let's see, how do you sigh? Instead of that hard breath out, I might start to sigh, and then I'm like slowly letting the air out. You know, I'm just always thinking now, slowly let the air out, not anything really hard. Same thing with a yawn. I'll just like yawn, and then I'll just be like slowly trying to let it out instead of that big yawn with it going out. And if I'm at the very first stage of breathing abnormally, like, you know, when it's hyperventilation is trying to take over, and it'll make you pop your mouth open all of a sudden, if you feel that, you know, I'll just close my mouth immediately, because I did read that's another tip that people do is close their mouth. So I just close my mouth now every time. And you become really, really aware of all these things that you're doing slightly wrong that keep this hyperventilation cycle going. So I guess the only other thing I can say, I mean, I can do one more time, is just show you, let's see, I'll be standing like this. And then, yeah, there's nothing to see because I'm holding it in. And then I'm slowly letting it out. And then I'll let in a little more. But I might do it even a lot slower than that. It's just, I wanted to show you in a certain amount of time. I am starting to run out, so I will say, do you notice how much breathing I'm doing in this video, and crazy breathing and different things? A couple weeks ago, I would not have been able to do that for you. I've gotten a lot of confidence from the fact that I feel normal a whole heck of a lot of the time, and I think that I think these methods have really helped me. So I hope you find methods that work for you, and you can get feeling normal and more confident too. So posture up. Cheers.